Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something super practical, something you're definitely going to use. How to talk all about your job and your work life in Egyptian Arabic. Let's jump right in. So picture this. You're in Cairo having a great conversation, and then you hear it. That classic question, so what do you do? Well, after this, you're going to have a fantastic, confident answer ready to go. All right, first things first, we got to start with the building blocks, right? We're going to kick things off with the most essential nouns. You know, the people and places you find at pretty much any job. This is our foundation. Okay, and the most important word of all has got to be work. In Egyptian Arabic, that is shoghl. Let's say that nice and slow, shoghl. Now, a little more naturally, shoghl. Trust me, you'll be using this one all the time.
Next up, where do you work? A company is a sharika. Go ahead and try with me. Sharika. One more time. Sharika. Awesome. And inside that company, you probably work in an office, right? That's a maktab. Let's hear it. Maktab. Perfect. And hey, fun fact, this word can also mean desk, so it's a super useful one to have in your back pocket.
All right. Let's talk about the people. If you're an employee, then you are a muwazzaf. This is absolutely key for describing yourself. Let's give it a try. Muwazzaf. You got it. Now, pretty much every employee has a boss or a manager. That person is your re'is. Let's say that one together. Re'is. Again, re'is. And finally, what about the people you work with? A colleague is a zamil. Say it with me. Zamil. Fantastic. And just like that, you've got the core vocabulary of the workplace down. See? Not so hard.
Okay, so we have the words, now what? Well, let's actually put them to work and start making some real sentences to describe what you do.
This right here is your go-to phrase. Ana bashtaghal fi. It means I work in, or I work at. So you can just grab one of the words we just learned, like sharika, and boom, ana bashtaghal fi sharika. I work in a company. So simple and so effective. And here's another fantastic option. Using that word we just learned, muwazzaf, you can say ana muwazzaf fi, which means I am an employee at. For example, ana muwazzaf fi maktab. I'm an employee at an office. See how it all starts to click together? Okay, so you can state the basic facts. That's great. But what if you want to add a little more, flavor? Let's get into some everyday phrases that'll make you sound way more natural. Let's build on what we already know. Check out this sentence. Ana bashtaghal fi sharika kibira. We already know ana bashtaghal fi sharika, right? Well, by just adding kabira, which means big, you've just added a whole new layer of detail. It's that easy. Now this slide is awesome because it shows you the power of one tiny little word. To say, I like my work, you say, ana baheb shughli. Simple enough. But to say you don't like it, you just pop the word mesh right before the verb. Ana mesh baheb shughli. That one little word completely flips the meaning. All right, we've got the nouns, we've got the phrases. It's time for the whole shebang. Let's see how this all sounds when you put it together in a real, everyday conversation you might actually have. And here we go. This is the big one. The question you're probably going to hear most often. Inta betishtaghal a. It's the most direct way to ask what someone does for work. Let's hear it one more time. Inta betishtaghal a. And check out this perfect response. Ana muwazzaf fi sharikat ittisalat. See that structure? It's exactly what we practiced. Ana muwazzaf fi, and then you just add what kind of company it is. Beautiful.
Of course, what's the natural follow-up? You want to know if they actually like their job, right? So you ask, Bitheb shoghlak? Do you like your work? It just keeps the conversation going.
And there it is, a simple, positive answer. Ewa baheb shughli. That first word, ewa, just means yes. So yes, I like my work. And boom, you've just had a totally natural-sounding conversation about your job. Okay, that was a ton of good stuff. So before we wrap up, let's do a quick-fire review of the absolute must-know phrases. Think of this as your personal cheat sheet to lock it all in. Let's run through them one last time. To ask, what do you do? Imta betishtaghal a. Your two main answers, ana bashtaghal fi or ana muwazzaf fi. Now, here's a new one for your toolkit. To ask when do you work, you say betishtaghal imta.
And of course, to share how you feel. Ana behib shogli or ana mish behib shogli. All right, the ball is in your court now. We've gone through the words, the sentences, and even a real conversation. So the only real question left is, how would you answer? Take a second, think about your own job, and piece together your answer using what you learned today. You've got this. You're ready.